Sorhadas Inside the Game is back live, episode 271 here on the National Soccer Network. I'm Nate Wangler. That's Ryan Glinsky. I don't know if he's trying to play the horn right now or something. Oh, there we go. Hey, hell yeah. Start of a new week here on Inside the Game. Welcome back in. Ryan, how was your weekend?
It was good. It was good. Definitely, sports teams definitely won all weekend long. So, yeah, that definitely happened. So, yeah, great weekend. Great weekend.
Yeah, it was tough in that way, which is, I guess, good for our purposes. A lot to get into, whether it be on the soccer/football front, or of course talking about the piss tools over on the basketball side. We'll get to them in a little bit, as well as just a generational performance continues to be in the playoffs for one LeBron James. I'm going to wax poetic a little bit today, so if you want to give me pushback, you can, because I know you're an MJ guy. You're an old soul, so I know you're going to come right through and be like, you're being ridiculous right now with the things you're saying. But I gotta put it all out there.
He needs to sit out 20 games a year just to produce in the playoffs. Oh,
no Luka, no Luka.
He can't win in a spot. Oh wait, let's just leave teams. Let's just jump ship. Let's leave teams again. Oh, wait, we can't win here either.
No
Let's bitch
Luka,
and get an MVP.
Nothing. Dude's 81 years old, and he's out there doing what he's doing. I don't understand. It defies logic.
So we have sleeping
nearly
coaches.
Had a triple-double
we have
yesterday.
All massage coaches, all the greatest treatment in the world just for LeBron. Yeah, no, it's not impressive at all. If he did this 20 years ago, I'd be impressed, but I'm impressed by it because he's had all the doctors,
give me a massage.
All the treatment, and everything he needs. He gets touched. It's a foul. It's potentially a flagrant foul. He complains when he.
They had medical staff back in the day.
He's played with more Hall of Famers than any other player combined. What LeBron's doing is not impressive. It's just not impressive.
Durability, age, man. He's been doing it for longer and better than anybody else in the history of the game. All right. Eventually, we're gonna come to admit
he probably has a winning record in the finals, right? He probably does, right?
It's all this ring culture BS where that's the only reason why people
in an NBA finals. Didn't he beat Jason Terry, JJ Barea, and Dirk Nowitzki in the finals.
Dirk.
He had to have, right? He had
that's
to have.
Dirk. I'm not taking anything away from Dirk. I'm not taking a single thing away from Dirk Nowitzki and what he did at all.
All
right, but also like MJ
inside
6
an
for
NBA
6
bubble.
without.
Okay. I'll give you that. He's like 4-8 in NBA finals, but okay.
Listen, man, all I'm saying is the next time I see that push-off highlight that MJ had, which is clearly the most clear push-off in the history of basketball, I'm gonna lose my mind. Also, Steve Kerr saved his legacy, so I don't.
Wait, you mean Kyrie saved LeBron's legacy? Because without Kyrie, Iguodala could lay the ball up, and which the block is one of the most overrated one of the most overrated moments in all of sports. Because guess what happened? They still would have won without the block because Kyrie, who's a gamer, who has saved LeBron and won him the title.
So, in other words, it's a team game, right? You need all five guys on the floor to
Steve
win.
Kerr
Hold on,
MJ, then you got to say Kyrie.
Who makes everyone?
Wait! How about Ray Allen? Ray Allen saved LeBron too. LeBron's not clutch. Ray Allen and Kyrie saved him.
Who makes everyone better around him? Who makes everyone better around him?
Hold on. Last time I checked, not 6, not 7, not 8, and he won 2, and he lost to JJ Barea.
That was a little ridiculous. All right, I'll give you that
point right there.
I'll give you that. All right, but all right, we'll get into that conversation here.
LeBron's not special, man. You put him in the 80s. He's not playing this long. He won't have as many points. Like, come on.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. In terms of the knowledge around medicine,
we got sleeping coaches, we got
nutritionists,
and the money, we got massage people. I get it
about LeBron, but still, at 41 to be doing that is just
because he's got the best treatment in the world, and he sits out half the year.
I am honored to be living through this greatness right now, and so should you. And you should be indulging in the greatness that is LeBron James every night. So
yeah, man,
Lakers.
I'm really glad that a player who can't get it done and sees the writing on the wall just abandons ship and just takes an entire team and guts their future for 10 years just to maybe win a championship. And this guy sucks.
KD's old ass can do it. KD's out there. I mean, why are we making excuses for him? I don't know. But anyways,
KD's got a ring more recently than LeBron. Oh no, he doesn't. He doesn't. I
fair.
forgot the Mickey Mouse one. I forgot.
He's got a gold medal. But anyways, so does LeBron. But anyways, let's get into our conversation.
Steph saved LeBron in the Olympics too. Man, LeBron does nothing in the clutch.
Steph saved everybody in the Olympics. Come on, man.
So Ray
at that
Allen,
point,
Steph,
man, they were just
and
running
Kyrie
ISO for
have
him.
all saved LeBron's career.
Yeah, and you know what? MJ wouldn't have been what he was without Scottie Pippen. All right, so let's make sure we got put some respect on Scottie's name. Okay, so I'm just throwing that
Scotty's
out there.
a dumbass after what he said after he said this Saturday. No, Scotty.
NAIA legend.
No, Scotty's dumb.
What did he say specifically on Saturday? Because
so
I
heard
a
how
little
Justin
bit on
Pippen, his son, who was on Michigan last year, transferred to Cal, now transferred to Ohio State. And Scotty goes, yeah, we just wanted to be a part of a national championship winning team. We think that Ohio State and what Diebler are building here at Ohio State, they could definitely contend for a national championship. Scotty, you just left the national championship team to go to Cal. Just say your son is getting a lot of money. That's all you got to say. And Diebler gave him a ton of money, and you went there not because that they were going to ever win a national championship. They didn't even make it out of the first round. Scotty, they didn't even make it out of the
Didn't
first
they
round.
spend more on players than Michigan did? Weren't they the top spenders in the Big Ten?
Ohio State?
I'm not mistaken.
I would hope not.
I thought, okay, I haven't looked at what the NIL ranking, though. I thought Ohio State was up there in terms of the amount they spent.
Football,
but anyways.
You probably saw football.
Well, football, yeah, without a doubt. I thought they were in basketball, too. I haven't double-checked what NIL spending is. Of course, that's going to change from one season to another. But getting into the soccer portion of our conversation, we'll shelf MJ and LeBron for a little bit later because I got more to talk about when it comes to that. But anyways, let's get into this. Ryan, man, hey, I get it, dude. Okay, I've been in your position when it comes to cheering for one of the teams that I know you're a diehard for. And by the way, I did tell our good friend Adam Jaxa over at the Lansing Lugnuts that Liverpool is not good. That in fact they sucked over the weekend, and he told me to get back at you a little bit and say that you were holding on for dear life, waiting for Sunday just to see them fail yet again. And he wasn't wrong, man. They fell to Man City. So I know you can't really talk Jay to Adam Jaxa because he's not here right now, but I can be the messenger for you if you want. But tough loss for Arteta and the boys the other day. I mean, I'll kind of give you the floor to kind of air out the room a little bit if you'd like.
I would say I'm not even like that mad because
you don't seem upset, which is the most surprising part to me.
Because they didn't even play bad. Like, I don't know what. Like, I can't sit there. Like, I was fully expecting us to lay down and not do anything. I was fully prepared for that. But outside of the first 5 minutes, like, again, everyone's going to complain, well, look at the stats, look at the numbers. Guys, no one's ever going to beat Man City in possession. No one ever will do that. They're a better team than us, and that's facts. And I'm like, I sit there and I'm like, I'm more pissed off on the fact that we didn't play like this against Bournemouth or against Nottingham Forest. Like, I'm more mad at that because we didn't play bad. We hit the post twice. Yeah, we got a gift at a goal, which it's not my fault.
That was hilarious, by the way. What the hell was going on there? How do you not know? How do you not know? Anyways,
I don't know, but like, I'm not even. It's difficult. As Baku's already in there saying bottled. Sorry, Ryan. I would say yeah, but I'm not. I'm still like, I'm not mad at it because these guys at least showed some heart. They showed some fight for the first time in a while. So that gives me hope, at least for the remainder of the season. I don't think we'll go on and win the league at this point. It's going to be very difficult. But at least I can see that they're showing some fight. They're showing some heart. I'm not like, I don't know, Nate. Like, I should be more mad, but I'm not because they played well. They showed heart. I mean, Eze was that close of putting it in the back of the net. Then a minute later, Man City just put it away or take the game-winning goal. So, like, you just got to put your chances. You got to take your chances. And Havertz one-on-one with Donnarumma. Then you had Eze hit the post. You had Gabriel hit the post. You had Havertz just put it over the bar on a header just inside the penalty dot. Like, they had chances. They created chances. And they didn't defend well against Turkey. That should have been defended much better. And then the Haaland goal, I mean, What are you gonna do in that spot? It's just like I don't know. I'm just not mad at the game to be quite honest with you because they played well, they played hard, they fought hard. They didn't get
Yeah.
rattled by anything. Gabrielle Holland, which, by the way, if it was a Man City player doing what Gabrielle did, no one would have said that should have been a sending off. That should have been a red card. It's the heat of the moment. Both of these players have been going after each other for years now, and it happened. So, like, I don't want to hear anyone complaining about, Gabrielle should have been sent off. Well, then we should have been sent off Holland many, many times in these games, but no one wants to bring that up. So I don't want to hear those BS excuses. But it's just.
Yep.
I'm just more mad at the fact that we didn't play like this, against the lesser opponents. Where if we were to lose this game and we played like this against Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest and other games where we needed to play better, this loss still wouldn't have mattered because we would have been points up. But it's going to be an interesting end of the season. I still think Man City will probably win out because it's Man City. They always just win out at the end of the season. We'll probably drop points in another game, maybe 2 games to end the year. And then we'll make the Champions League final and then lose in the Champions League final. So it's just going to be more heartbreak. And I will say this, too, because my dad and I were talking about this. Arsenal's just Penn State football, man. We just get there. We don't do anything. We don't win in the big games. Arteta is just James Franklin, which is like, that's good to know now. It's good to like have my expectations that we're not going to win anything anymore. I needed the Nate approach like a month ago of the glass half empty type of approach to life and to my teams.
Told you.
So like I should have taken your word for it back then, Nate. So my bad. I should have listened to you. But like Arsenal, they're going to get you to the moment and they're just not going to do anything. And I'm fully accepted that now, which is going to make the end of the season so much better. And for next season as well, and years after that, forever how long Arteta's got, I'm just like I've fully accepted that Man City was the better team than us. They're gonna win the league. We're not gonna win anything. We're probably not gonna win anything for the remainder of Arteta's tenure. Maybe an FA Cup. I don't know. Maybe an FA Cup. Maybe a Carabao Cup. But now I've fully accepted everything. I'm not as mad as I was after like 5 minutes after the game. But, no. Actually, the guys gave some, you know what? They gave some fight. I'm impressed with the boys. And, it still stings. Don't get me wrong. Like, I just want to see a title so bad. But I just know we're probably not going to ever get one. So, at least I have a Michigan national championship.
You know what it reminds me of? There you go. Yeah, you've had a few things. The USA gold medal, Michigan basketball national championship. A lot of the American sports you're doing fine. Apparently, over the pond, you're not. What I will say, it kind of reminds me of. Well, yeah, true. Yeah, we'll talk about the
Pistons, the Commanders.
Yeah, we'll chat about that a little bit later. What I will say though is, anybody who's ever left a job or gone through a breakup or a split of anything, typically you find out like a couple of months beforehand, you're like, this situation just isn't for me. Like there are things leading up to the inevitable end that you're just like, you know what, this isn't great. I'm not getting the promotion. I'm not getting the extra money. I had a lot of high hopes for whatever the hell this was, but you learned a long time ago that it's probably not going to end the way that you would like it. Right. And so it reminds me a lot of like the Tigers like last year. You play so bad down the stretch that all of a sudden you put yourself in a position at the very end to where you're in must wins in order to secure the thing. And in order to get the top spot, you put yourself in that position by playing terrible leading up to it. Like that's why that game and that match against Man City was so just tense, and there's just so much weight on the shoulders of everybody because you put yourself in that position by the shitty run of form that you had leading up to that match. So I can definitely see where it's almost kind of like, we did it to ourselves.
Nate, to be honest with you, I don't even think there was pressure at all. Like I don't feel like they felt pressure at all because I've never seen them play kind of free a little bit against these guys. Like in the Carabao Cup, that was one thing, and years prior that was one thing, but yesterday, I was fully prepared to see 4-0 thrashing, but it felt like since the ultimatum was put out in the air, like they just like felt free. Like the same thing against Sporting, like they just felt free. So like I don't know if this whole ultimatum, they're like, well, if this is the end,
it doesn't.
We might as well just go out swinging.
Yeah, but it doesn't hurt nearly as much. Like, it doesn't hurt as much if they were to just roll over and get pummeled, right?
Yeah,
But like,
this is
I'm
weird,
watching
Nate. Like
video. Yeah,
this, like
right.
it feels like how I felt 2018 Michigan Villanova, where I'm like, I know we're gonna get smacked here, but like we're here, so I kind
Got
of
there.
expect to win, but I know we're gonna get smacked at some point. Like it just
The only difference is that Arsenal was top of the table for like
yeah, but I
forever.
fully expected us to
But
lose it
so
at some point. Like that's the
yeah,
thing. Like if the Lions were to back in 2021 or not 2021, 2023, like if they were to go into San Francisco and lose, like how they were just like, yeah, Niners are just a better team than us, I would have been fine. But they had to do it that way. But like then that wasn't fine. But this one, I fully expected us to just bottle this thing. And like they played well, which it's just I don't know. I'm in a weird state right now with this team because like I fully expect what I think is going to happen, and it's probably going to happen. We're going to lose the league by like a game 4, 3 points, something like that. But at the end of but it's not going to sting bad because we're going to be in a Champions League final in a week's time. So I'm like, okay, I'll have that. But then I already know going into the Champions League final that we will probably lose to PSG or Bayern Munich. So like, it's weird. Like I'm just not hurt by this team right now, as I should. Like 5 minutes after the game, 100% I was pissed because of what happened. But like now sitting back, I'm like, well, like I don't have to just like focus on this team anymore. Like I know what's gonna happen the rest of the way. The Band-Aid's been ripped off. Like the more that we continue to be in first place, and the more that we continue to have points, I would have been more tense. I would have been more like pissed off if we lost and dropped points. But now that we're finally arrived at this, okay, we're already gonna lose the league. Like I feel fine. Like it's weird. It's a weird state. I probably won't be
Ryan's
watching
at the
games
stage
much anymore with them, but it's like I'm just fully prepared. Like I'm happy now. Sociedad got the win the other day, so I'm good.
Ryan has officially reached the acceptance part of the grieving stage, right? There are multiple different stages of it. Anger comes first, but then after anger comes acceptance, generally speaking. And so Ryan, in real time, after that match against Man City, went through all the different stages. I'm just surprised that you got out of anger so fast. Typically, I stick around in anger for like 3 or 4 days, and then finally I'll get past the anger stage.
Maybe it was because of my softball performance. Maybe that's what changed it real quick.
That's what I was gonna say to open the show. You played beer league softball yesterday and went 3 for 4.
Yeah,
it was singles night for Ryan.
No, the glove needs some
middle.
work, but that's But to be fair, the issue I couldn't see the ball, so it's weird. The field that we played
like
on, we had to
overcast
share
day
an
or
outfield
something
with another team, so I'm like kind of watching both games at the same time. And the play before, there was a hit, and it went straight to our left fielder, and he fielded it and threw it, and I had to like run a little bit of distance to like go around him to like if it like got by him, and I was there. So then I was kind of jogging back, and I kept talking to the one center fielder in the other field. Then all of a sudden, I hear a crack of a bat, and I'm like, dude, that's coming to me. And I made a good run on it, and I made a good read, but I just wasn't tall enough, and it hit the top of my glove. So I don't know if that's an error. It probably is, but yeah, no. Like I think that's what.
No, that'd be a hit. That'd be a hit if you were running, if you were moving and it hit off the. No, that's a hit.
Okay,
no,
we don't have an error then.
Ordinary effort.
That's good. But no, it's just like back to the Arsenal point. And there was a comment on our YouTube video on Friday that was after the show went live and everything from Tim McCoy, and he said, I'm a Tottenham fan. I haven't seen the league yet, so 22 years is nothing. I'm currently 62, and I'm like, hey, it could always be worse. But I mean, I was alive technically, but I didn't see Arsenal win the league. But like, I've fully accepted that this club will not win anything. I'm you know what I'm at right now, Nate? I am like Michigan football in 2021 right now. After that Michigan State game, I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm fully prepared that we're not going to win anything. We're going to finish 10-2. We're back to the Harbaugh 10-2 years. And after the debacle of the COVID year and the year before that, we're back to 10-2. And I'm like, I can live with that. Like, hopefully, maybe one time we can beat Ohio State just once. But I can live with the 10-2. And then all of a sudden, after that happened, I was like, wow, that's
so it might launch him in the right direction. You never know. I guess if we're turning this into a
Like,
positive here, I mean, if that's the
remember,
direction we're going with all this.
I remember coming downstairs in 2021, Michigan, Ohio State. I'm watching game day, and I'm sitting there, and I'm fully prepared to see just another BTA from the Buckeyes. And as the game goes on, I'm like, okay, we might win this thing. And eventually we win. So hopefully that turns into the Arsenal thing. But after that Michigan State game is the way I feel about Arsenal right now. After that Michigan State.
Is Arteta done?
What'd you say?
Is Arteta done?
It depends on the Champions League, obviously. If he were to win the Champions League, no. He'll be back. But I think if he doesn't win anything, I think he's done for sure. I mean, I just I don't know what more you can do. Like, you have everything in place. You have everything you've ever wanted. You've had leads. You've led the league for damn near the entire season, and you're not going to win it. So I don't know, Nate. Again, there is a small chance he stays if Pep Guardiola leaves. I have seen that before, that if Arsenal told him that you were leaving, you are gone if Pep's gone, or you're gone if Pep stays. But if Pep's gone, we view you as the best manager in the league right now. So I could see him staying if Pep leaves. So I don't know. I can see it.
Yeah.
I can see a path for him to stay. But if Pep stays and he doesn't win anything, then yes, I think Arteta is just a dead man walking at this point.
It's fair. Let's on
Bring
the other
in
end of the break, let's talk. It's you called it already. On the other side of the break, let's talk about another manager, an American manager, in Pellegrino Matarazzo, first American manager to win a trophy in one of Europe's top leagues, making history for U.S. soccer. Also, Coventry City to the Premier League, first time in 25 years. Congratulations to Haji Wright. We'll talk about all that and more on the other end. First, FC Bayern Summer Soccer Camps are a proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network, fostering football excellence across North America, open to boys and girls of all skill levels. FC Bayern camps deliver elite training inspired by FC Bayern Munich's world-class philosophy. Select your city and start a promising soccer path. And right now, save $30 on registration by using promo code BayernNSN30, and that's BayernNSN30, or scan the QR code on your screen. Learn more at FCBayernYouth.com.
So the dream behind Irene's was simply to be a place where the community could come and gather. This is my hometown, we're raising our family here, and we just want to be a space where people can come together as a community and share a great meal. We've got golf simulators, we got pinball, live music, trivia nights, but we also have fresh, always homemade, locally sourced food, and we serve it with a sense of Gemütlichkeit. This is a German word that conveys a sense of warmth and coziness and belonging. We're excited to show off how we're growing and that this is the place to be.
Inside the Game, episode 271 here on the National Soccer Network. We were talking a little bit about Arsenal and Man City. Ryan Glinsky, you said you had another point you wanted to make on it. Go ahead.
I got one thing, and this still just baffles my mind to this day. Hold on real quick. This just feels really weird to me. Like I don't get it. Fans, let me try to rephrase this. Soccer fans want Arsenal to lose the league more than their own teams to win the leagues, which makes zero sense to me. I don't know how that's even possible, and how these fans want a team that has cheated for 15 plus years, who has won 8 out of the last 10 Premier Leagues or whatever it is, to then win the league again because they want to see Arsenal lose so bad. It just makes zero sense to me how you want a team who you're not even rivals with, and that your biggest rival in Man City, I'm talking to you Manchester United fans, you would rather have your biggest rival win the league than us win the league. It makes zero sense to me whatsoever. I think you guys might need to get checked mentally in the head. Why? Like, I would never want my biggest rivals to win anything. I would much rather them lose. So it's very weird to me. It's very SEC-like with some of these fans. And I don't know, man. I just had to say that. It's just very weird behavior. And I think it's sad.
Yeah.
Probably should get checked mentally a little bit. It's just very weird. I get it. You hate us so much. That's why we're such a massive club, because I have never seen a team who will lose one game and the entire world starts flaming them. Yet we'll see Manchester United get debacled 8-2, and yet no one else is laughing at them or just being like, wow, that's so funny. Everyone just is like, dude, let's just light up Man United. No, that never happens. It only happens to us. Why? Because we're so massive and you guys just want to see it. It's just weird.
Yep. No, I 100% agree. I think I always think it's corny.
He says, apologies for the lateness, though I am guessing all I have missed is the crying over Arsenal. Not really crying. It's more of just acceptance. I wouldn't say
it was.
Yeah,
Dave.
It was not tears shed. I think it was just more of accepting that we will never win anything ever again in the club's history. And I fully accepted that. As long as Dusty May and the boys are winning national championships, I'm not even mad.
He's gotten to the clarity portion of the grieving process. We talked about this a little bit before commercial break. The anger and the denial have all gone away. Ryan has officially gotten to the point of nothing matters anymore. Yeah. There's a great line actually from Kanye West, which is the weirdest thing to say to start a sentence off, because typically Kanye West is not Nostradamus. He doesn't have a lot of great lines. However, he's said a lot of bad things. However, one of his lines in his songs goes, "I put my hand on the stove just to see if I still bleed. Nothing hurts anymore. I feel kind of free." And that's where Ryan is right now, because nothing hurts anymore. He put his hand on the stove to see if he could still bleed, and he's like, I do, but I don't feel it anymore. So
I didn't do that. I just went 3 for 4 in my softball league and realized, wow, man, this is fun.
My man was swinging for the fences and hit singles up the middle instead. Hey, we can't all be home run hitters, dude.
My first cut, I was swinging for the fence, dude, and I missed by like 5 inches, dude. I swear, I was like, okay, let's actually read the ball a little bit, Ryan. Let's see the ball come in. And I'm like, okay, boom.
Did you do the whole crow hop thing before you swing? That's how you get all the power behind you. You know, you do the little hop that they do, the little hop and skip. Oh, yeah, but don't some guys like shuffle forward before they swing?
No, I just lift the leg up and I get it just enough into the outfield.
It is an Olympic sport, by the way. So if you get like juiced up enough, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that is the softball version of the Whitecaps. But let's get into the second version of our conversation here. Pellegrino Matarazzo, history for U.S. soccer. At least someone from the United States, New Jersey to be specific. First American manager to win a trophy in one of Europe's top leagues. Really cool moment for Pellegrino Matarazzo. Matarazzo continues to establish himself as one of the best. And it seems like we're talking about him with really every passing week. And I think the thing that I've been the most not surprised by, but impressed by, is just the culture that he has set at Real Sociedad. And it has been an unbelievable journey for that team. And you've really seen that change in that building really kind of take place ever since Pellegrino Matarazzo got there. And I think it's really kind of coming to a head now with what we've seen out of them. And, even talked about that, really in the media, and he was pretty poetic about it and talking about the common goal and how they've been able to really build something special. And this is a manager that has proven one thing, and that is he can command a room. You know, if Pellegrino Matarazzo walks into a room, you respect the space, you respect what he has to say. And obviously the deep history when it comes to being born here in the United States, playing in the Ivy League at Columbia, and then obviously going overseas and making the impact that he's made there. It is just, it's fun to see an American out succeeding at that level, but it's always hanging around in the back of your head going, you know, is there ever a world in which we could get him to come back to the US and maybe share some of that wealth of knowledge that he does have? Again, not just the fact that he's an American, all of a sudden that would put our men's team over the edge and make us competitive on the world scale. I wouldn't necessarily say that, but a brilliant soccer mind. And again, part of us growing at the world stage, the way that we want to see the men's side grow is to make sure that we're keeping track of these things, that we are keeping track of these players or these managers that, although they haven't been directly involved with USA soccer in a long time, they're still out there, you know. And now that Matt Crocker leaves for Saudi, and we're considering and weighing our options as to who, you know, the new guy is going to be. Whoever that new guy is, like, we need him to make sure that we're on top of these things and that we're paying attention to these things. I don't know if there's ever a world in which he comes back to the US and does anything, but it is just another example that we are getting into those spaces, getting into those leagues, getting into those areas. And of course, the other one is Haji Wright in Coventry City, going back to the Prem. So Haji will be in the Premier League with them. But I don't know, Ryan. I think it is notable. It is noteworthy. It's fun to talk about, but I think it's also fun to imagine if there was ever a world in which he were to come back to the U.S.
I would
in
love
whatever
that
capacity
personally,
that is.
but I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening for at least a while.
Yeah, more than likely.
I think right now he seems to be like one of those guys who might not care about the U.S. men's national team job, or like doesn't really ever want to manage an international side. But I mean, the results speak for themselves so far. I mean, in the 19 matches he's had, 12 wins in all competition, 19 matches overall, 12 wins, 7 draws and 3 losses in all the competitions, and he's got a trophy already. Their 4th title in Real Sociedad history, which I think they won it a couple of years ago. But this guy has done nothing but win since he's gotten there. He's gotten to the north side of Spain and San Sebastian. He's done a really good job. And the teams, they looked organized, they looked focused, they looked determined, they looked tough, and that's something that I mean, I think they were a little bit outplayed by Atleti in the parts that I watched. I mean, that might have also been, you know, late in the game, like, you know, Atleti's just throwing the kitchen sink at it, which Julian Alvarez, my God, what a finish. Yeah. But I didn't like that aspect, but I just think it's, you know, it's you just got to see the situation, and they get to a PK shootout, and they had an opportunity to score a goal to win it even in extra time. And then I look at the PK shootout, and I mean, their goalkeeper Moreno, I believe that's his name. He made the first 2 saves in the first 2 shots, and from there, Sociedad just kept going. But hey, make no mistake, you don't just, you know, walk into a trophy like this, you know, unexpected or anything. He's done a really good job. He's got good players, and especially a side of Real Sociedad that has lost a handful of players over the years. Odegaard was on loan. Isak was there before. Moreno, Zubamendi. They've had players that have gone on to have pretty decent careers recently. So they've done well with the pieces he had. Remember, this is a team that was, I think, down in 11th or 12th when he took over. And he's got them within striking distance of a Europa League spot, which doesn't even matter anymore because they already qualified for Europa League with that victory in the Copa Del Ray. But this is a hopefully at some point down the line that he could become a manager for the U.S. men's national team. I wanted Jesse Marsch to be the manager back in the day, but obviously we know how that all panned out, and he went to Canada. We have Pochettino, which I mean, I probably would have Pochettino over Jesse Marsch anyway, but because again, I still think Pochettino's gone at some point. I think he's gone in the fall, but I do like Matarazzo being a manager for the men's national team at some point. Also, didn't realize how tall that guy is. I mean, the dude's like 6'6", it feels like. But no, this guy's he's a very good manager. I would like to see what he does with a full transfer window this summer. See the type of players he brings in, sells, maybe up through the academies as well. So Yeah, no, very, and I will say this with his area, or with him being the manager of one of these clubs in the Basque region, the Basque region is very good at producing academy prospects, but like with the likes of Bilbao and the likes of Real Sociedad, and there's another academy I'm blanking on the name of over there. If he were to come to be part of the United States, I would only imagine that would help our youth development as well, help our academies, help the MLS academies, help the USL academies and our youth national teams. Like, I think this would be a great fit for us later on down the line, but I just don't see it at this current moment in time of him ever being a manager for us at some point. But, hey, we got a good manager, at least, if we could somehow bring him in at some point. But you know what? The United States got Pochettino, so I couldn't write anything off with the U.S. national team.
His team is also the broadcaster's worst nightmare. Jean Martin and Pablo Marin. That would be horrifying. To just tell you what,
there's
I would call
interesting names out there.
Man, a lot. But the thing that I think I like the most about what he has said to the media, to everybody else around, especially after winning that cup, I think is the part that I like the most. And to your point, we haven't seen him with a full transfer window. So what is this club able to do when he actually has all the time available to him to make those decisions? That's what really is the most alluring part of all this to me. But he goes, quote, "The identity of this club is developing young talents into the first team." And I know all managers say that, but he goes, "We have a lot of talents, leaders, experienced players, and talents that are growing every single week, like the two I just mentioned, and a lot of other young players. That's a part of this club and a part of its history." And so he is feeding into that, and he is showing that development is obviously clearly a big part of what he is and what he does at that club. And so the identity component is there. The development component is there. It just seems like Pellegrino Matarazzo doesn't really have a hole in his game right now. I think he has, like I said, just firm control over the room. So a firm leader, a strong leader, someone who is a visionary of sorts. I think when I think about what we could certainly use somewhere in the future, could certainly be something like that. And again, everybody's looking for an opportunity to go manage, at a World Cup or manage an international side. Now, again, the U.S. men's national team is a different type of beast, obviously, because of what we're dealing with over here in our set of circumstances. But
we got lots of
brilliance,
issues.
Brilliance from Pellegrino Matarazzo, certainly in that one. And again, congrats to Haji Wright and Coventry for making the Prem.
Yeah, first time in like 25 years, and where that club was at certain aspects of them getting all the way up. Shout out. But they'll probably go right back down knowing Frank Lampard. But I just think with I would like to see how long this whole thing lasts, because Matarazzo also, he had a good start to his time at Stuttgart, and it kind of just started to slowly unravel and didn't end so well. So hopefully he continues this great trend with Real Sociedad, and I'd also like to see what he does in Europe next year as well, in the Europa League. So a good start, and hopefully it continues.
Let's talk a little bit about Major League Soccer, our Week 8 recap on the other side. We'll also get into a little bit more about some of the debacle around the World Cup and a hypocritical politician. It's not the first time in history that's ever happened. Let's talk more about that on the other side here on Inside the Game.
Experience the thrill of the game like never before with NSN's Game Rewind. Dive into full match commentaries enhanced with cutting-edge dynamic graphics, letting you relive the highs and lows of your favorite matches in astonishing detail. Whether it's a championship win or a legendary play, NSN Game Rewind bridges the past and future with a broadcast experience designed to captivate. Call 586-304-4405 and start watching today.
Back in live inside the game here, hour number 1 in episode 271, getting into our Major League Soccer recap from match day 8 in the MLS. Ryan, go ahead.
I did realize we might have to get Tanner on the show back on Friday because I saw they had all the season awards and stuff. So you might see him back on a Friday. We'll give him a call. But yeah, no, week 8. I mean, there is one thing I do got to nitpick, but about the league overall. But yeah, here are some of the results as we put them up here on your screen. But again, not many red cards. I don't think we had one red card at all this weekend, which is weird because there's always red cards in the MLS. But just a couple of things, and this is the game that I am going to nitpick about Inter Miami and the Colorado Rapids in a sold-out 75,000 stadium capacity at the Denver Broncos Stadium at Mile High. They get the victory coming in late. The other side, though, San Jose in the West, they continue to keep things rolling. A lot of people expect them to kind of have the clock strike midnight on them, but they continue to win. They continue to find ways. They won it 4-1 yesterday. Bruce Arena's team continues to get it done. A couple of academy prospects in there as well. And then the Toronto game, that was a crazy one as well. 6 goals with Austin FC. They each scored 3. None of them scored on the other hand, though, by what's his name? Josh Sargent. I know he just recently made it there. The New York Red Bull youth movement continues to go on. They gave 3 teenagers 60-plus minutes this weekend, but they lost 4-1 to Montreal, which they had a new manager, interim manager, Philip Elofre, and he had a really good quote. He says he wanted one word to help this team, and he says there's one word we used perhaps most often, not the only one, but most often, smile. We want to bring smiles back to everyone on the team and the staff. So I thought that was really good. Vancouver, I mean, we know what they do. They just continue to win 3-0. Did want to mention that Greg Berhalter's side, Chicago Fire actually scored more than 1 goal this time. Their third time this season in all competitions. They scored more than 1 goal. They drew with Cincinnati. Our good friends at For the Crew podcast, the Columbus Crew, they are just continuing in another losing streak and another losing game as they drop to New England.
Darn.
And then our good friend on, I think it's National Soccer Network South, I think that's what it's called. Callum Ewing, who is a part of Atlanta United. He's one of their credentialed reporters over there. Make sure you drop a follow to them too at National Soccer Network South. He had some funny videos pulled up on that one. He was talking about there was Dos a Cero chants from the Nashville fans. People were leaving within like 40 minutes of the game. So make sure you catch all of his content. We collaborate with them, so you'll see all of our videos. And just drop on our Instagram page, Nat Soccer TV, and then just drop him a follow as well. So no, great stuff overall in the MLS standings. Kind of the same. Nashville, Miami round out the top 2 in the East, and then the West starting to separate themselves. Vancouver and San Jose, which San Jose beat third place LAFC, who's currently now 5 points behind them. But yeah, that is just a look at the Week 8 recap in the MLS.
Yeah, and Vancouver right now is they're just a good team. I mean, you talk about team, it's the sum of all your parts, and that's what Vancouver is. They're very balanced. Brian White with 4 goals, the 4-goal haul for Vancouver as they continue to look really impressive. Nothing pops off the page necessarily about that team from a star power perspective. I don't think there's anything that's really all that attractive as it pertains to Vancouver, but they've just got it done in so many ways. What, a 5-1 thrashing in that matchup? San Jose has looked really good. Yeah, obviously Inter Miami, edging Colorado. I know we talked about Messi with his game winner at the end there. Just another guy who just continues to perform even at a high level despite his age. I know it's in the MLS, but it's been wild to see
how
at least
great Messi's doing at this age, because like he won a World Cup at like 37.
He's still playing against college kids or fresh out college kids or teenagers. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, it's tough to keep the energy up to run around with everybody out there. But no, I think it's impressive. But anyways,
so he won the World Cup at 35. and LeBron won a World Cup at 35, or not a World Cup, an NBA championship at 35. So like we got to continue to praise Messi the way I'm just wondering which way we're gonna have it.
Of course, I mean, what, you want me to praise Messi because I'm praising Bron? You want me to praise Messi? Is that what you're getting at here? Because we got to do both.
He's so good at such a young age.
Oh my goodness, it's still impressive that Messi's doing what he's doing.
Messi runs more and all that stuff. Covers more ground. Saying,
come on, man. I mean, I get it, but I mean, basketball, you got a shorter court. It's more up and down. Also, you're doing more vertical jumping than you are in
more rest for LeBron
soccer,
because he picks and chooses what he wants to play. Yeah, for sure. I will. This is the thing that I wanted to nitpick.
I love how that's the thing that soccer players get on everybody else, is the cardio component. Like, you can't even run 5 miles. It's like, yeah, I probably can't, but what's your point? Whatever. What, I can't jog?
It's tough to
do a marathon?
It's tough to do. There's something I do want to talk about and do want to mention, because I got this from our good friend Jason over at the I Hate Soccer podcast. He brought up a really good point, and I really liked it. I wanted to touch on this during our MLS recap, and that was the fact that you're playing in Mile High Stadium, Inter Miami, and it's an away game essentially for Inter Miami. Yet when Messi scored, he goes, 75,000 people cheered at a home game for the Colorado Rapids, and he's like, what is going on here? I've never seen an away game like this. And it just brings up to the point that I still can't take this league seriously sometimes. And this is just one of the reasons. Look, if any sport, any team, like anything else, anywhere else in the world, at least soccer related, someone scores, you're not going to see everyone just get up and cheer. What are we all of a sudden going to cheer? Is LCA going to cheer when LeBron dunks the ball because he's so old and he's still doing it right? No one's going to do that. Let's just stand. Let's just cheer because LeBron did it. That's just one of the issues I have with the MLS. It's just like you're just there. I think a majority of fans are just there to like, well, we like soccer. We can't really go to England or Spain or Germany to watch the teams that we really like. So we're going to come here, try to see the best player in the world. And again, credit to the MLS for, because all of a sudden they said we put this game in Mile High Stadium for an anniversary or something. Like, we all know what you guys did. You could realize that instead of selling out 12,000 people, you could sell out 75,000 people, which again, I'm not going to knock on anyone for doing that. And you got to make the money. Yeah. You've got to do it somehow. But it's just the fact that everyone cheered for him when he scored. I get it. He's the greatest player of all time. But I just feel like as our soccer culture, as the soccer elite likes to say, like we don't have a true soccer culture domestically or for our men's national team. Like, we care a lot about the men's national team. We want to see him succeed, but they don't do anything. But if I was an Arsenal fan and let's say Messi played for Chelsea or something and Messi scores a goal, no one in the Emirates would cheer for him. No one would do that. Like, I get it. He's so good, but like that is just something annoying about American soccer and the MLS specifically is the fact that like we're cheering for all these stars scoring against our own teams. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. It would be the equivalent, in my personal opinion. It is in a lot of ways the equivalent of stars in other sports in the U.S. kind of going on tour because stars sell tickets. This is why leagues protect stars. It's like Jeter. If Shohei comes to your town, you're going to sell the place out. If Bron comes to your town, you're going to sell the place out. MJ, the way that people used to talk about Michael Jordan, now with the exception of like obviously when you play in the playoffs against like the Pistons, like that's a different beast. But still, MJ, even later in his career when he was in the Wizards, if Michael Jordan came to your town, it was going to sell out because you wanted to see what Michael Jordan was going to do that night, right? So I don't have no disrespect for MJ, man. I'm just saying. So this is not. I don't think this is anything terribly unique, to be honest with you, Ryan. I think this is par for the course when it comes to you have a chance to see one of the greatest to ever touch the ball ever. right? And this is why I kind of feel bad that I never, and I don't think I'm ever going to get the chance to actually see LeBron play in person. I don't know if I'm ever going to get the chance to see Shohei play in person. I hope I will, but stars sell tickets. That part of it is not, in my opinion, that's not unique. I even think in Europe that would be the case if Messi was to play somewhere. I think everywhere would sell out. But I even told you when we were at Detroit for DCFC in Chicago, I go, could you imagine if this was Miami? I mean, people would be flooding over the fences in order to just get close enough to the pitch to see the guy, because that's the kind of effect that he has. Also, it's been a really good run for Denver, man, between the NWSL and then this one with Messi. Man, they've had some packed out stadiums, but I don't think that part of it is weird. The thing that is weird about American soccer is I think we saw with Chicago, 14, 15 people show up for their supporter section.
Yeah.
If Messi was there, it would have been chock full, right? And that's because I think it is the lack of star power. It is all of those other things. But I think the biggest part about it is when you look at American soccer, it's just so spattered in terms of the loyalties to the game. Like, we all just want to, and I don't speak for everybody, but we just want to see the most talented players. But those players aren't here. They're in the Prem. They're playing for clubs that are in the Champions League. They're playing in all those other leagues. So we'll support our local teams and we'll get into it. But the ones that we want to see are playing in those places. That's why the loyalty sometimes when it comes to the US, they're so spattered across the board, much like it is for American football anywhere else in the world. Like, they watch our game, but they don't have a team in their town. They don't have loyalties there, but we'll still sell out stadiums when we go over there. And so that's why, because a player to the level of Messi with his resume, we don't have that. We just simply don't have that. I think American fans just want to see the best players. I don't, their local team might be someone they support, their local MLS team, but Messi's the best of all time. That's what they came to see, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just find it weird when you're up 2-1 and then Messi scores a goal in the 75th minute to tie it. Everyone just is like, "Yay, Messi!"
Yeah.
Woo-hoo. Like, that's just
I think
weird
people just
to me,
appreciate
man.
just appreciate greatness. Yeah, I get it.
I get it,
Yeah,
but
I
that's
understand
against
it.
your own team, man. Like, it's just, it's weird. Like, I bet you anywhere in the world, if Messi, yes, I would agree. If Messi shows up somewhere, the place is gonna sell out. But even if Messi were to play, if Messi was somehow on an English Premier League team and they're playing in the FA Cup and they go up against a League One side and he scores a goal, the whole place ain't gonna cheer. They're just gonna be like, okay, like, that was really cool, but like, we can't get excited about that at all. But like, damn, that was sick. But like, it's weird to me that people cheer so much. I get it. He's such a star, but like, that's just weird. By the way, Shrock's back in the chat. He says, "Boys, it has been a minute." LOL. We're happy to have you back, Shrock. We're happy to. Oh, by the way, Shrock. Here, one of my roommates, who's from Illinois. He went to, his fight song actually was the Notre Dame fight song. He sent it. He says this might be the best fight song of all time. I kind of agree with him. I think it's a really good.
It is
song.
up there. It is nice for
there
sure.
to help out your Notre Dame love. But no, like, back to the main point here. Like, I just feel like Messi, when he's at these games and I just see these fans cheering for it, it's the same thing that I saw when I was at what was it? The Warriors Pistons game last year. And I think I saw more Steph Curry jerseys on kids than like a Cade Cunningham jersey. Or for instance, this year when I went to the Spurs game, so many, like, there was a moment of silence, but you hear kids yell, "I love you, Wemby! I love you, Wemby!" Like, dog, like,
and that, well,
like,
this is the like, some people choose players to cling to. Some people don't choose
that's
teams.
weird though.
Like,
I don't
think,
like that.
but
that's weird.
That's how it is. I see it all the time. You and me, obviously, we're Detroit fans through and through. Like, we like the teams. We want to see the team succeed. But there is a good population of people, and I think soccer more so than any other sport in the U.S., where people just cling to specific players that they love, and none more than Messi. There's a reason why his jersey sales are more than anything we have on the U.S. men's national team, because these kids love Messi, right? And so even if it's like Denver's my team, I mean, if I've been dreaming of watching Messi my entire life and I show up and he scores a goal, it's going to be hard for me not to cheer for the guy. But there are a lot of people out there that are like that.
Dave brings up a really good point. I can understand cheering a former player who is playing for the opposition, but cheering for a random player with no connection to the club is crazy. That's what I'm saying. Like, see, I'm the type of person where, like, when Stafford was gone from the Lions and went to the Rams, hope nothing happened. Like, no injury or anything, but, like, I hope he doesn't win anything. And when he plays us, there was, like, fans were like, well, I hope Stafford plays well. Oh, shut up. Stop saying you like Stafford. You don't actually like Stafford.
But I feel like the NFL is different, though, because the NFL is different, though, because you have stars everywhere. Like, everybody has a star. Everybody has a guy that's, like, is on that list where it's like, I can cling to
it's
this
weird
player.
To root for players who I just, like, who aren't on the team anymore, and they're playing against you. Sure, root for Stafford when they're playing against other teams, but, like, we had people wearing Detroit Rams hoodies and T-shirts around. I don't even want to be near you.
That's a little weird. I'll give you that one.
But
yeah,
like, if
I'll give you that one.
For instance, let's see, Robin Van Persie, who was my guy. He was my first real, like, favorite Arsenal player ever. First season I ever watched him, he scores 31 goals. The next game he goes to Man United. And he scored against us, and I was hoping to God that, like, Laurent Koscielny or Thomas Vermaelen or whoever shitty backline player we had at the time just went through the back of him. Like, just hit him because all of a sudden, we're just going to jump ship to Manchester United because we just want to go win a title. Like, I was hoping so bad someone would just run straight through him. Like, I don't get it, man. Like, like, for instance, if Jared Goff were to win a Super Bowl with the Lions and a couple years down the line, he's on a different team, the Lions really aren't playing for anything, I'd be like, you know what? I hope Jared Goff plays well because he delivered me something. Like J.J. McCarthy, for instance, he delivered me something. So I hope he does well. I know he's in the division, but I'm like, as long as he doesn't do it against us, which he already did, I'm like, I don't hope he's that bad. But it's just what pisses me off are the people out there that just want the SEC people looking at you, Schrock. It was like the SEC people. You're now in Texas. You're now a part of this. He's like the SEC people that just want the conference to do well. Dude, shut up about that. Or two, just
you know what I think
one player. That is weird behavior. Oh, I'm just
I think it shows.
Fan. No, you're not. You're just a bandwagon trying to see if one of your teams win. Shut up.
You know what I think? You know what I think it shows more than anything else? I think it shows that people they don't actually really are diehards about their MLS teams. They're just not. And a lot of the stuff that I see, even with Chicago, and respect those dudes that were willing to drive to Keyworth Stadium.
Maybe not the guy that almost fought a kid. Maybe not that guy.
Don't. Hey,
be
by
that
the way,
guy.
if you ever come to Keyworth Stadium in Detroit, don't pick on people. All right, they don't. Those people around there, they don't. They don't do all
take
that.
a sip of your beverage because that's just gonna make it even better for you.
Yeah. So but what I will say is, it just seems a lot of it, and I'll give European fans credit to this because they point this out all the time. Just a lot of it seems forced. A lot of it seems inauthentic. A lot of it just doesn't seem real sometimes. And so I don't think there is this overwhelming pride when it comes to my local Major League Soccer team. I just don't see it. Now, there are certain USL sides like Detroit, I think is a great example. I think those people actually give a damn. I think they care. I think Vermont, I think Annapolis is a good example. I think there are some Major League Soccer sides that Louisville. By the way, you got to get it right, man. It's Louisville. It's not Louisville. We got to just saying the Southerners get on my ass about that. But we, there are examples of those clubs existing. However, I think sometimes it is fabricated in the MLS. And if it's fabricated, the minute that you insert a star like Messi into there, that fabrication is going to become brutally apparent to everybody because then he's the most exciting thing ever.
Like, I'll get to Shark's comments here in a second because he brings up one about the conference and he says, seeing this conference succeed is weird because in no circumstance should Oklahoma succeed in everything in anything. Unless it's beating Ryan Day in football, I'll let that slide. That's why we love you.
Yeah, there you go.
That's why we love you. Screw Ryan Day. People didn't really like my TikTok video yesterday about him. but it goes like if
couldn't have
as
beat
an
them
Arsenal
2
fan,
years
being a
ago.
What'd you say?
Couldn't have beat them 2 years ago. Didn't they have 2 shots at them? But in that national championship year,
Texas did. Yeah, be better.
Yeah,
Don't give them a national
damn it.
championship.
Jesus.
But anyway,
yeah, what the hell?
as an Arsenal fan, and I see like Premier League sides and the Europa League or the Conference League or the Champions League, I don't want any of them to win anything. Like there was like West Ham was in the Conference League final. I was like, dude, I hope West Ham doesn't win anything. Jared Bowen's on fire, Andy Shag and Danny Dyer. Like that was sick, but that was the only thing that was cool about it.
Yeah,
that was the only thing cool. I don't want to see him win. Last year, I had to like watch the worst soccer game I think I've ever seen in my life in the Europa League final in Tottenham versus Manchester United. I was hoping that like all of a sudden the Martians had the death beam pointed at us on that field, whoever they were playing. I was just hoping that was going to happen. Just point the death beam, and Iguodala missed a 3-point shot. That was all I was talking about. Dave and back to Arsenal. I'm proving a point here. Proving a point here. I hope Celtic win the league. I think he's a Rangers fan. I don't remember exactly which one, Celtic or a Rangers fan. But I'm just saying, like, I don't want to see the other team's league. And I think you bring up a really good point about American soccer is I think the MLS sides and the MLS team, it's kind of just like, to me personally, I think the MLS is kind of like the whole MLB teams. Like you have diehards, but it's like in the summer of the MLB where like no one's really bought into the team yet or bought into the season because it's the summer and we're just hanging out at the ballpark having a couple brewskis and some hot dogs. But like MLS, I think is the whole year round where it's just like, yeah, we're gonna go to the game, take a couple photos, probably post on our Instagram and our Facebook. And then, but they win, it's whatever. If we lose, it's whatever. But, like, you go to the USL, and these people are living and dying by the team. And it's, like, great to see. It's a very authentic product. But I just can't
That's
get
why we love
the
the
MLS
USL.
in that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I love the USL, man. That's why I think like the small market approach with these different places, and even somewhere like as intimate as Keyworth Stadium is, like I even told you this yesterday. Like, yeah, obviously it's old as dirt, and you can tell when you're in that place that it's old as dirt, but it's not massive. It's small, and it's the reason why I love it is because you can pack it out, and 6,000, 7,000 people at full throat sounds louder than 14, 15,000 people just sitting and watching. So it is. So you're right. That's why I love. Yeah. Yeah. And whole lot of F Chicago too.
Hey, the moment I hated Chicago Fire was we don't give a damn. But I'm like, okay, you can't be using that chant here.
Yeah.
And first off, Illinois lost in the Final Four. Michigan didn't.
Well, I love the chant that DCFC broke out. They were talking about Chicago, and then they said and Ohio too. They just had to mix Ohio. Ohio had nothing to do with that night whatsoever, but we just felt like Ohio deserved a stray because they always do.
Our guy Schrock was watching USL Championship yesterday. Indy 11. Watched the Indy 11 match yesterday. Fun football. He called it football. Shout out, Schrock. You did not piss off all of Europe, Schrock. Way to go. Not like us, who pisses off Europe every single day because we call it soccer. I really don't understand that. Like, it's a word for a sport that we don't even take seriously over here.
Yeah. It's just something for people to get on us. However, I will say I like it because, again, half of our comments are just simply because we say the word soccer. So it is feeding the algorithm with every passing video that we put up.
Here's what I'm convinced about, because I had this argument yesterday with one of my friends who were pissed off about the Detroit Tigers lineup. Like, this is the worst lineup I've ever seen. I'm like, guys, there's 140 games left. I could care less about what they do yesterday.
Still won.
Dave, that's a great one. He says, to be fair, any chance is better than fight and win. That's the Seattle Sounders one back from like 2014. I'll try to bring it in. Is one of the most cringiest chants I think I have ever seen in the history of sports. It's so bad. Fight and win. Like it's
one we need to
bad.
yeah. We also need to retire I believe that we will win. Guys, we're not
That's
in
a
high
bad
school
one,
anymore.
too. That's
okay?
a bad one.
We're not in high school anymore. Like, I get it if this is like the varsity football game, like from once upon a time. I believe that we will win is fine, but it's not passable when we're talking about professional soccer.
I think
we gotta
from
get
an
rid of that one.
American soccer chant standpoint, you got to ban I believe that we will win. You've got to ban you can't do that. I didn't know we were watching varsity football in Texas. Shout out, Truck. We got to ban the I believe that we will win chant. Like, we've got to ban these high school-esque chants. Like, Detroit, you're telling me that you're sitting the entire game and we're not chanting Gio Reyna. Gio Reyna. Like, you're telling me you're not doing that?
Right, for as abrasive and as mouthy as they are, it's like you don't think you would come up with something a little more creative? Like, I get, like, you know, like F Chicago, that's fine, but that doesn't take a whole lot of thought, man. Like, come up with something a little more creative than that. Although the Northern Guard, they were pretty sick anyways. I can't really bash them. They were really fun, but yeah, it just seems fabricated sometimes, Ryan. I gotta admit, they actually got a point with it.
At least Europe's got good chants.
So, there you go.
And
I'll
they
give
get
you
R-rated sometimes. So even more respect.
You wanna talk about the New Jersey governor on the other end, or you want to get into all sports content? Okay, let's talk about it. First, I'll tell you about Barca Academy, proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network and the official academy of FC Barcelona in the United States. Designed for boys and girls ages 6 to 18, Barca Academy camps follow and replicate the FC Barcelona game model. Same philosophy used by Barca's professional coaching staff. Right now, you can save $30 on registration by using promo code FCB30, and that's FCB30, or you can scan the QR code on your screen. Find a camp near you at fcbarcelona.us/camps.
In Barca camp, I sing my song Grown on and off of the field. Don't miss the time to register.
Sign up now for Barca camp.
Into the final portion of our soccer conversation here on Inside the Game, episode 271. And welcome back in to everybody joining us, including our good friend Shrocky, who's back in the chat today. Also, Dave, appreciate you joining as well. Fight and win. You got the video pulled up?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's do it.
And win!
This part's really good.
Put it over. Come on, Seattle! Come on, Seattle! No, you gotta realize something.
It's even got that.
Fight and win! Fight and win!
Little thing tied around his neck.
Dude.
Come on, Seattle! Come on, Seattle! Fight and win!
All right, that's enough. That's enough. Like, that is horrible. Like, American soccer fans, like, can be cringy, and that is one of the most cringiest things I think I've ever seen. Like, fight and win. Well, why don't you wear a tighter shirt next time and wear another scarf tied around your neck like that? It looks like a tie. Fight and win. Come on,
would I rather listen to that, or would I rather listen to No German Bombers? I think I would rather listen to No German Bombers, if I'm being completely honest with you. Why is it that I will give the people of Europe credit. They can harmonize, they can synchronize, they're all together. It actually sounds good. It's like, if I was a player, like, I would genuinely be distracted by some of the chants and some of the songs and whatever the hell they break out, because there's some good stuff, but
very good
that
stuff.
is not. That is, I mean, if you have a call leader in your section and all you're doing is just repeating what he's screaming at you, that that is stuff.
Schrock says, "Fight and win sounds like a high school cheerleader that knows nothing about the sport." LOL. Yeah. Clearly, I don't think. Clearly, I don't think this guy knows anything about the sport either. So
you got to give him some pom poms, man. That's that would really complete the look, I feel like, for that chant. But let's get into the final portion of our soccer conversation here. The New Jersey governor, who was really, you're right, was complaining all week, and we've had some issues with New Jersey, especially when it comes to public transportation, up to about $150, I think, for an Uber now. Gets to go for free to the World Cup, does the governor. At least this is what I'm reading here. She officially gets to go for free, Ryan? Is that what you're saying?
She's got an opportunity. The New Jersey governor also has a suite in MetLife Stadium provided by the New Jersey Sports and Exposition Authority to attend sporting and other events there. So I said that during the World Cup. FIFA will oversee a suite for dignitaries and elected officials, presumably including the governor. See, this is where I get pissed, Mikey Sherrill. So we're going to sit there and complain all week about how FIFA's not going to pay for this. FIFA can't do this. They make $11 billion, which is probably true. And then we're going to sit there and complain about the public transportation being so crazy. Look, your administration inherited an agreement already where FIFA's like, yeah, no, we're not paying any of that. You can't go back on it now because then FIFA's just going to get more pissed, and they might just say, you know what, we're taking the tournament out of your city, and that's going to hurt you even more. So then I also want to bring this up, Mikey. I don't know exactly where the Super Bowls are going to be held next, but if the Super Bowl is going to be held in New Jersey at MetLife Stadium, which it has before, you better not raise any transit ticket prices. You better not, because every city in America, when they host a Final Four or a big sporting event, they all hike up their prices. So what I'm saying is, not only is FIFA giving you stuff for free, and you're complaining about prices that were already agreed upon in a deal already agreed upon, you can't then hike up prices for the Super Bowl if you ever have one, or a Final Four, or another massive sporting event, because that's just a hypocrite at this point. Not only are you going for free and complaining about, well, I'm here for the people, yada, yada, yada. Well, you're going for free anyway, so it's not like you care. But I'm just saying, like, you can't just come out here and complain and then just sit there and be like, well, I get to go for free anyway, so it's not going to bother me anyway. And then, I mean, maybe we should just, maybe your entire city just shouldn't reap any of the financial rewards that the companies in your city are going to be making. But then tell the hotels they can't hike up any of their prices. Tell the restaurants and the bars they can't hike up any of their prices. Tell any more Uber drivers or whatever that they can't hike up prices. Tell them all then, because if you're upset about the public transportation system being so much higher and FIFA not covering it, then don't make sure you're not overpricing any of the hotels or anything like that, or the people at the jersey stand at the corner who are selling like $100 jerseys when in reality it should be $30. Make sure those are taken care of. But I'm just saying, you can't sit up here and complain when you're getting stuff for free, and the fact that your city is going to benefit from all of this happening. And if there's a Super Bowl, I don't want to see prices hike up, because it always does.
Yeah, that's I don't think that's a product of the governor. That's just business, right? As demand skyrockets and supply isn't changing. I mean, it's the same supply that it was before. I mean, it's just basic business, right? So that's just going to happen. But no, I get it, right? And this is another classic case of do as I say, not as I do. I'm over here, you're over there. I mean, it reminds me a lot, when we went through COVID and everything that happened there with, Governor Whitmer. I mean, there was a cutoff with Northern Michigan where, below this line, this is how life is. And you got to wear a mask, and there's a curfew, and you got to be inside. And then you get north of that line, and it's like everything else changed. Now you don't have to really do any of that other stuff. Life is just what it normally was. I remember this because I was up in Traverse City during the summer of 2020, and life was just completely normal. I'm over here calling Pittsburgh's games, and everybody down in Grand Rapids is, dealing with this or that, or, these new rules and regulations. And I'm in Traverse City like, hey, I'm living life, man. I mean, life is completely normal. And then they found out that our governor had a cottage that was just north of that line, and was spending the majority of her time at her cottage, just, living life the way it normally should be lived, while everybody else was, doing everything, being inside by 9:00 and only 5 people inside the store, whatever the case is. So it is another case of a politician being in a position to where they don't really have to complain about it themselves, but, they're trying to make a case for everybody else. The logistics of how this breaks down. Yeah, she's a hypocrite. Of course she's a hypocrite. In terms of the prices or everything else around going up, I mean, that's going to happen in a Final Four. That's going to happen in an Olympics. It's going to happen in a Super Bowl. It's going to happen with all of it. I just think, obviously the communication between the two sides and the breakdown is not great. And it's not where you want to be leading up to the World Cup. I understand why the prices are going up, but at the same exact time, I feel like there are more proactive things that the city can actually do in order to make this better, as opposed to just sitting back and complaining about the different things that FIFA is doing. Because I was really much of the mindset, especially when we talked about Foxborough, that FIFA is crooked. And we know FIFA is crooked. We know that FIFA is going to try and cut corners. We know that FIFA is going to try to take a few bucks off the top. That's just who FIFA is. But at the same time, I think, our leaders have to be smarter. They have to do their homework more. They have to understand what they're getting into. Because frankly, I think some cities in the U.S. realize that. Not because they didn't have the infrastructure to do so, but because they didn't really care to do so, because they knew who they were dealing with in FIFA. You signed up for it. This was something that you put on your own shoulders. And now, if FIFA's not matching what they said they would match in the contract, then that's problematic. If they're not putting up the dollar amount they said they would, or meeting you halfway, then that's a part of the conversation where I get it. But the other part is, you're not going to do any good by just sitting back and complaining, especially when we know that you're not going to have to pay a dime to be there in the first place. So I get the hypocrisy of what it is that we're talking about. 100%.
All right, a little breaking news. We'll probably touch on this a little bit more tomorrow, but one of the U.S. host cities don't have any issues like New Jersey, as Philadelphia announces free SEPTA rides to and from World Cup matches with Airbnbs, and they will also have tickets to, if you were to take a train to, or their subway system, whatever it is, to Lincoln Financial Field. It will remain just $2.90, thanks to the Philadelphia World Cup organizers. So, they partnered up with Airbnb, and we're like, let's work out a deal, and they got the deal done. So, basically, hope that you're playing games in Philadelphia is what I would say.
That's awesome. Good on Philly, man. That's really cool.
Typically don't
looking
give
out
them
for the fans.
Much respect, but respect to them.
Brotherly love. So that's awesome. And New Jersey could certainly afford to do something similar. So definitely see that.
Oh, Dave, a couple comments coming in. He says, Euro 2024. Remember Germany gave fans free transportation? I don't recall. So the issue is, for me, at least paying attention to the other tournaments going around, I don't see a lot of the mainstream issues in terms of the tournaments going on with the Euros and the World Cup. So, no, I did not know that. And he also said, and just Googled, the tournament generated an estimated economic impact of over 7.4 billion, believe that would be euros, US $8.2 billion. No, this is what's going to happen. It's going to generate so much money, and everyone is just, this is what I was going to get to. My friends yesterday were complaining so much about how bad this Tigers lineup was, and I sat there and I go, guys, it's April. There's 140 games to go. Who really gives a shit about what the lineup looks? And, oh, by the way, not every player can play every single day. You need to rest a couple of the guys. And
Once in a while.
I texted them in the group chat. I said, just admit that you are bored and can't complain or bitch about any other sports that are going on because nothing else is going on. I am convinced that all these people that are in the World Cup city organizers are just bored and want to just point fingers and complain at something and bitch about something. And they were like, you know what? Let's pick this. Let's complain about this. Not the positives and the positive impacts that are going to happen into our economy and into our cities.
Well, imagine
and
if
I don't
you
know.
bottle it,
Everyone
dude.
likes us now, but
Imagine if it doesn't go well.
At one thing.
I mean, it could absolutely go sideways. I mean, and that's, if it does, that's their career. That's their job. You know, they were the ones that were responsible for making sure that this goes smoothly. So, I mean, I don't know, if my ass is on the line, I'm probably going to be the same exact way too. So, not that, you know,
What, just
we are
complain at
nitpicking,
everything?
and I do not complaining, but, you know, being, I guess, what's a good word for it?
It's the World Cup's going to be fine.
Stick up the ass. You know, of course the games are going to be fine, but like everything else, as it comes to the politics around the game, again, if it doesn't go well, that's their ass in the jackpot. You know, because this is different, and I hate when people are like, compare this to like Super Bowls or anything. This is different than a Super Bowl. This is far different than a Super Bowl or any other major American.
It's a little bit different. But in terms of all the economic impacts, it's going to be greater than the Super Bowl.
Just talking about the scale of it, with the amount of people that are coming, with where they're coming from, all of those things, it makes it far different than, like, Olympics would be the closest comparison in my opinion. You know, which, you know, to be fair, we haven't. What's that? Yeah,
in LA, that's going to be a logistics nightmare.
Yeah, man. I don't know if you've ever been on a 7-lane highway before, but it's a little freaky when you're out in. Ooh, I did 5 lanes in San Diego, and even that was like, wow. Like, you find yourself in the middle. You're like, what? I got to go freaking 4 lanes over to get off the highway.
Yeah, 94
like,
is
we're
2
playing
lanes
Frogger over here.
By my exit is 94 is 2 lanes. And then you go up 2 miles south, and it's back to 3, but that's as much as I've ever seen. Schrock says, injuries are inevitable in baseball. Believe me, my past fantasy baseball teams know about it. LOL. Schrock, what I'm getting at is they were just bored, and Michigan Athletics weren't playing. There's no football going on. The NBA playoffs weren't in yet. Like, they were just bored, and they just wanted to bitch and complain about something because that's what they want to do in the sports world. Let's just find something to complain about. Like, that's what I think just this whole thing with the World Cup is they're just I think that they're a little bit more on edge than most people probably can recognize them as. Like, one of my buddies, he works with the Detroit Grand Prix and, like, Arlington Grand Prix, and he was talking about how his boss was like the race week, he was like different person. Like, he was like stressed about every little thing that could potentially go wrong, and the race went fine. Like, it was a great success. And it definitely happens. But like, Mikey, I mean, if you're gonna turn around and get a free suite into a World Cup game, you can't be saying stuff like this. I'm just saying.
But FIFA's gonna play the political game though too, you know. So but she's always had that spot. But anyways, I certainly get it. Let's get into our all sports conversation. On the other end, you got a couple of things to talk to. Spring games this weekend. Also,
more overreactions. Bryce.
Yes. Let's do it. On the other side, first, let's tell you about Man City. Those soccer camps, proud sponsor, as always, of the National Soccer Network, and bringing world-class training inspired by Man City's global football philosophy, players across the United States. Open to boys and girls of all skill levels. These camps focus on technical development, decision-making, and playing the game the City way. Right now, you can save $30 on registration by using promo code MCNSN30. Again, that's MCNSN30, or scan the QR code on your screen. Find a camp near you at usacamps.mancity.com. It is time for some overreactions. Let's get into it. Episode 271 here on Inside the Game. Where do you want to start? You want to start off talking about the Pistons a little bit? Because frankly, Vegas was right, man. And I know we talked about the disrespect and everything, but I don't know, just disappointing. Where you want to start off, though?
Let's just start with the overreactions. The Pistons will probably go a lot longer than the overreactions on the spring game.
Right,
so,
that's fair.
yeah, I don't know what overreactions you want to talk about. I don't take much away from spring games. So, yeah, I don't know. Where do you want to start, Michigan or Michigan State?
We can start off with Michigan State. Pat Fitzgerald, some pretty strong words after their spring game. Now, I know I sent you the video. I don't know if you got that one up at all. Did you? Okay, so let's get into what Pat had to say after Michigan State's spring game.
Just so we're all scoring at home. We start camp in 110 days. We'll be back in Spartan Stadium to take on the opener in 141 days, and we go down the road to take on Michigan in 203 days. So those things are all top of mind with me, with our coaches, with our program.
That's just funny to me.
Excuse me.
It's cute.
Excuse me.
It's cute.
Here's what I have to say, man. The whole Dizzy Bat Race thing, and I saw that. Pat's just trying to do something different. Like, he's just trying to do something to revive what is a dead corpse, which is Michigan State football. Okay? And that is not an easy thing for anybody to do. And especially in a building that was as empty as that one was on a day like that. I don't really take anything too big away from doing a Dizzy Bat Race. I'm always a fan of not taking yourself too seriously.
But you're asking
That's
for
just always
yourself to
kind
get
of been,
trolled, though.
It's just kind of my MO. And frankly, I don't think he cares. I don't think he does. Clearly, he doesn't care. So I don't really take a whole lot away from that. Nor do I think Michigan State's going to be anything to really worry about this year. What I will say, though, I understand that Michigan State, I think they missed out on the biggest opportunity they had as a football program, and that was to go get Urban Meyer. Like, that was your opportunity. No. They didn't do it. Now, whether or not Urban Meyer didn't want to come, whether or not they didn't put up an offer, or
they could have had Signetti.
Turned down an offer.
They could have had your boy.
What's that?
People wanted Signetti.
I still would have. I understand. I still would have taken her. I still want to take it. I still would have taken Urban Meyer
over your boy Kurt
day after day. I love Kurt Signetti. Don't get me wrong, but Urban Meyer is as much as I hate that dude, he's a legend.
So after a scandalous, you just lost a scandal coach because of Mel Tucker. Then you had the
you just hired a scandal coach
previous decade. Then we're just gonna add the guy who had like the team with the most murderers and arrests.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
No, I wouldn't touch Urban Meyer anymore. You
either pick the Florida guy, or you go get Pat Fitzgerald with the hazing scandal at Northwestern, which that was always a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. And I don't understand why people get like, if you're the head coach, there's no good in that. You either know what's going on, and so you are in on it, or you're okay with it, or you don't know what's going on, so you don't know what's going on inside of your football program. Like, there is no winning in that situation for a head coach. Like, it falls on your shoulders. But the thing is, what's that?
I think they just wanted a way to get him out of there. I mean,
no, that's it. Yeah, I think they
20 in 2 years, in 21 and 22. I think they just wanted an excuse to get out of there. That's why the Jerome Moore thing was kept under wraps for so long. I think they were seeing, okay, let's see if we actually have something in this guy.
Yeah.
Let's see if this coach can really do something for us. But at the moment it hits the fan, we're bringing this thing out. So well, we didn't know what was going on. I think it was just an scapegoat. But to that press conference, it was cute. It was cute, Pat. You'll probably go 4-8, 5-7, but it was cute. And that was more of a, well, look at me. Look what I'm paying attention to. I take this seriously now. I know Jonathan Smith did nothing, but we're playing Michigan. We got the first of the season. We got the camp. Dude, Pat, shut up.
He understands the importance of the rivalry, though. Like, that matters.
The rivalry
Ryan.
hasn't mattered in 5 years.
I want to hate Pat Fitzgerald, but again, what he did at Northwestern, the one thing he is a winner. I know you can point to those last few years. But what COVID did to that program, that wasn't the only program in America that it screwed up for a couple of years. I mean,
Nick,
Kyle Winningham not
the
knowing
only
anything about
reason he
Michigan
was
and
ever in a
Ohio
Big Ten
State
championship
was a
game
little
is 'cause they were in the
problematic.
Big Ten West. They were
He had
never
10
they
bowl
were
games,
never good.
10 bowl games, 2 Big West titles. He had 3
The
10-win
Big Ten
seasons
West,
at
Central Michigan could have won it.
Northwestern. At Northwestern before NIL. Come on, dude. He's a winner. I don't know how you don't
I
see
didn't
that
know
about
being
Pat
mid
Fitzgerald.
was a winner.
I'm not.
2
at
10-win seasons
Northwestern.
makes you a winner.
Dude,
He was in
go
the Big
coach at
Ten West.
Northwestern
Did he ever
before
beat Michigan,
NIL.
Ohio State, Penn
We're
State,
gonna
anyone
compare
else big?
the resumes
No,
of
he didn't.
Northwestern and all the other big brands in the Big Ten. Are we joking right now? No, Pat's a winner, man. I'm just saying. I thought it was. I obviously they're obsessed. Obviously they're obsessed. We've talked about this many a times on the show, but I can't hate the guy. I think they made a good decision, probably the best outside of what they could have gotten elsewhere, which would have been Urban Meyer. But, getting into the other side of the Michigan spring game, and I know that you don't, you're not into the overreactions. That's fair enough. But listen, man, if Bryce sucks this year, put Tommy Carr in. I remember watching Bryce as a sophomore.
Let's pump the brakes.
Hold
Tommy
on.
Carr.
Hold on. I remember watching Bryce as a sophomore in high school. I have never seen a kid with a stronger arm and more athletically gifted at that position at that age in my life. Like I told you on this show, the first ball that he threw was the prettiest spiral that I've ever seen. But as a sophomore at Michigan, I'm done making excuses. Okay, the clip of him making an illegal behind-the-back forward pass in practice does not impress me. I understand it's just a spring game, but going 3 for 9 does not impress me. Your happy feet in the pocket don't impress me. The way you run your mouth and speed around in your really expensive car, but yet you can't command an offense, does not impress me. What happened to gunslingers, Ryan? Genuinely, what happened to stand in the pocket gunslingers who can look downfield, who don't have to do this special little shit with their legs and try? It's stupid. I hate it.
Why do you think we have a quarterback issue in the NFL? It's all RPOs.
We don't need magic.
That's what
we
your
need
boy
productivity.
Fernando runs. Your
we
boy
don't
Fernando's
need
an RPO merchant.
No.
Yeah,
okay,
he is.
But I think he's more of a gunslinger than
more of an
anybody
RPO
else.
merchant. Just admit it. He's more of an RPO
Johnny
merchant.
freaking Wangler, dude. Like, what the hell? Like, Buddy would
couple things.
get up after a,
couple things.
Buddy's working on one knee and he's out there slinging it. Anyways,
couple things. I don't know what people expected within 2 weeks of a spring camp. Was everything just going to be magically fixed for Bryce?
No,
we're going to wave a wand. Boom, you're Patrick Mahomes already. No, this takes time. After a quarterback who had no resources, no wide receivers, no help, no quarterback coach, and a coach who was more worried about DMing OnlyFans models, what did you expect? All of a sudden he's going to drop back and he's going to look like Josh Allen back there? I don't know what people expected back there. No, you can't fix that in 2 weeks. If we're going off after the Pat Fitzgerald press conference, which you love so much, well, we got 150 days until the next game. We got 6 months until the first against Michigan State. It takes time. What did people expect? He now actually has a proper quarterback coach and a proper head coach who doesn't care about OnlyFans models. That's what we're at right now. The whole Tommy Carr thing. Let's pump the brakes. If you really want to know, Nate, who were the leading passers in a Michigan spring game for the last 5 years, Davis Warren was 3 of them. And what was Davis Warren? He was ass.
Hell yeah.
You want to know who
beat
the
Ohio
leading
State.
rushers were?
That's what he did.
Dunlap
And
and
beat Bama.
Benjamin Hall. None of them ever did anything at Michigan. So there is nothing to.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're freaking out about Bryce Underwood right now. Who cares? It's a spring game. Did he look great? No. But we can actually react to this if he looks this way against Oklahoma in the second game of the season. Then we can get pissed off. But Tommy Carr, he's only there because of a last name. He was a 3-star quarterback for the longest time, and he was going to a MAC school for the longest time until the last second. Let's relax.
Yeah, but his last name is Carr. All right, his last name is on the tunnel.
Ain't even that good, right, Schrock? CJ Carr ain't even that good. Hoping he's still in the chat.
Oh man, hey, overreactions Overreactions is what sells on social, right? We both know this, but I am being honest. I'm not being dishonest. Like Bryce has seemed like nothing more than a me person since he's gotten on the campus at Michigan. And if we're going to bash on Braun for saying what he said when he went to Miami, maybe we should bash on Bryce for saying all the stuff he said about Ohio State before he even got on campus, dude. Like, don't talk about OSU until you beat OSU. Like, that stuff pisses me. Like, JJ and all those boys did not say anything about the Buckeyes until they actually beat them, and beat them a few times. And that's just the thing is, I don't want, like, I don't want, like, I just want a quarterback that can just stand and fucking throw the ball.
So
that's all I want,
so
man.
when Cignetti,
that's all I want.
Before your boy even coached a single game yet, and he sat up there and said, Purdue sucked, and so does Ohio State, Michigan. Were we cool with that? Were we cool with that at that moment?
Oh, yeah, and then he I mean, okay.
Are we cool with that moment in time?
He didn't beat him all the first year, but the second year he did it. So, yeah, this better be Bryce Underwood's Cignetti year.
We didn't have an issue with that.
This better be a Cignetti year. No, because he did it. But this better be Underwood's Cignetti year. That's all I'm saying. He better go out and beat everybody. Oh, boy. Schrock,
CJ Carr is the Heisman this year? For sure, Schrock. Yeah. I'll have what you're smoking today. It is a special day. But, no, look, okay. Couple overreactions. One, Pat Fitzgerald has done nothing, even in the NIL area. He went 4-20 in the NIL era, which Northwestern, to be honest with you, Nate, they should be rocking in the NIL era. How many CEOs do you think they got?
In what world? Okay, all right, go ahead.
Do we know how many CEOs they got? You're telling me
there's some academic standards to get into Northwestern too. You don't just walk into Northwestern.
Okay, for the athletes, you don't have to actually get it. They should get rid of that. But I'm just saying, Nate, in the NIL era, this guy went 4-20. And the only reason he ever made Big Ten championship games, the only reason he made 10-win seasons is because he played in the Big Ten West. Central Michigan would be bowl eligible in the Big Ten West. So let's pump the brakes on that. Bryce Underwood, did he look great? No, he looked awful. But he played on April 18th. And last time I check notes. Oh, season starts at the end of August. All right. Oh, the same. I basically had the same conversation with my friends with the Tigers. Oh, we're bitching about a roster, MLB roster on April 19th. Oh, wait, checks notes. Oh, we don't lose game 5s until middle of October. Okay. Bring Coldplay to town. You will see how many CEOs are there. Yes, we talked about that on Friday.
Yes,
said be careful.
Absolutely, right.
They're the halftime show for the World Cup final. So, yeah.
By the way, Northwestern has the least amount of living alumni in the Big Ten, and the rest of them are all journalists, so they don't make any money anyways. So I don't know if they're going to be killing it in the NIL game.
They're such a good school. How do they not have all the CEOs?
Indiana, on the other hand, I think has they're top 3 in the Big Ten. So that actually makes a lot of sense why Indiana would have.
So Indiana just bought their national championship. Cignetti did nothing with it. He just bought it.
I didn't say he bought him. I'm saying he had a leg up, man. NIL is going to hurt Northwestern more than help it. NIL with Northwestern's on the same level as a lot of MAC schools in NIL. Even just put it that way. Ain't nobody sticking around at Northwestern. So,
yet their current head coach in his last 3 seasons had better records combined than Pat Fitzgerald in his last 2 years.
You're gonna make me a Pat Fitzgerald fan. This is not gonna be good. I don't want to go down that road because I don't want to.
Spartans head coach
I don't want to. Because of you, because you're freaking pushing my buttons over here.
Nate's gonna be like, I'm so happy because Pat Fitzgerald.
No, it's just rage baiting Ryan. He's just pushing my buttons, man. Yeah, well, you said Kyle Whittingham was a bridge coach, so you better not get excited if we beat Michigan State because he ain't going to be there in a couple years anyways because we're going to go get, I don't know, Bill Belichick.
I'm hoping somehow Mike McDonald sucks. I'm hoping somehow, or they just go find the right coach. But no, I don't think Whittingham will be there longer than 3.
Let's take a break. When we come back, let's talk about Pistons a little bit, and then, of course, we'll get into question of the day here on Inside the Game.
Experience the thrill of the game like never before with NSN's Game Rewind. Dive into full match commentaries enhanced with cutting-edge dynamic graphics, letting you relive the highs and lows of your favorite matches in astonishing detail. Whether it's a championship win or a legendary play, NSN Game Rewind bridges the past and future with a broadcast experience designed to captivate. Call 586-304-4405 and start watching today.
Into the final topic here of Inside the Game before we get into the question of the day, Nate Wangler and Ryan Glinsky. Ryan, I know it's just one game. I get it. And you even made a video about it yesterday, reaction video. Catch that on Sports Nation, by the way. That's sports with a Z. But Pistons falling to the Magic in game 1 of their series in the Eastern Conference playoffs. If you can't win a home playoff game, don't expect Vegas to give you any sort of respect in terms of being able to advance out of the East. I'm not going to say that the regular season is meaningless. The reason why it's not meaningless is because it gives you home court advantage. And I do think that that matters in the NBA playoffs. However, what we saw yesterday, and I think to kind of back up your point, and I'm sure you probably feel the same exact way that I do, what we had was good enough to get through the regular season. And I'm not putting anything that happened last night on Cade. I mean, he had 39. Like, if your best player has 39, you better be able to rally behind him and win. But everybody else disappeared. Dennis Jenkins disappeared. Freaking Duncan Robinson disappeared. Everybody else fell off the map. Duran disappeared. Everybody disappeared. Why is it a team that can go wire to wire as the number one team and also looked better last year against the New York Knicks, go out and fall flat on your face against the Orlando Magic? I understand they have some good pieces. Paulo Banchero is a baller. But this shouldn't be a team that, if we're talking about championship aspirations, which has been the conversation for the majority of the year when it comes to this Pistons team, whatever that was last night was pathetic, and that can't be the case. We can talk about Cade having a Robin to his Batman, and I do think that was something that the organization missed out on. But we think we're good enough to get at least out of the first round, and I think they're still good enough to win this round of the playoffs. But if that's any indication of what we're going to see here in the future, if the lights are too bright, even at home, that's problematic. And I don't know if the sum of all of our parts are ready to actually take on that task because we don't have another guy for Cade. There's one guy on this team, at least evidence last night, that you have to shut down, and it's Cade Cunningham. Once it gets outside of Cade Cunningham, well, you got to get a bunch of role players. What are they able to do? How are they able to impact the game? No, they looked terrible last night, Ryan. They looked horrible.
Yeah, no, I was able to miss the first half because I was too busy making contact, getting singles up the middle. So what was it? I was on I was the last. In order to keep going, we had to score like 4 runs or something, and I was the last one up. And I told the catcher, I'm like, so if I get out here, I can go home and watch the Pistons game. But if I don't get out here and score this run, and I have to still stay out here. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, all right. Contact straight up the middle. Shortstop makes a great play on a line out. I was like, yes. Made a ton of contact there, but got through. But anyway,
so you sold
with
it.
the Pistons. With the Pistons, from what I saw yesterday, it just felt like we were just playing catch-up from the get-go. I know we were down by like 12, 15 points or whatever it was at the beginning of the game, and it just showed no life at all inside LCA. The LCA playoff curse continues. We still have yet to see a Detroit victory inside LCA in the playoffs with either the Red Wings or the Pistons. Red Wings have never made it. The Pistons are so far 0-2, 5, 0-6, 0-6 now inside LCA in terms of playoffs. Lost both to the Bucks, lost all 3 to the Knicks, and obviously 1 to the Magic. So that continues. But with the Pistons yesterday, it just seemed like they got pistoned yesterday, if that makes sense. Like they were getting out physical. They were getting out tough. Every loose ball was going to the Magic. And we've seen it time and time again where the 7 seed or the 8 seed will win the first game of the series, and eventually they just won't win again. And I think the Pistons are capable of doing that. And someone will say, well, this is not your typical 8 seed with, Bencaro, Franz. I get both. A handful of players were out 50-plus games this year. I get that. But it's not like the Magic are a top 3 seed regardless of if they have of who they have out there or not. They're probably more like a 6 seed or a 5 seed, whatever it is. And maybe not a 5 seed. I think they're more of a 6 seed. But if I'm just looking at this team, you should take care of these guys, no issue. But the issue I have is the same issue I've been saying for a long time. Is the same issue we saw last year. Is when you blitz Cade, you take Cade out of it. Who do you have? And you have a center that relies so heavily on Cade. Yeah, I get it. He was an all-star, but Duren relies so much on Cade. The whole offense relies so much around Cade. I think maybe you could give the ball to Tobias Harris, and maybe he's the only other guy on the floor that can create your own shot. Duncan Robinson can't. Asar can't. Duren can't. Like, no one on this team can. If you were to just give the ball to 1v1 ISO situation that can knock down a shot, it's Tobias and Cade. That's it. And Tobias is your best option on doing that. That's not good.
And like you compare them to like the going to work Pistons, it's like Rip could score, Richard Hamilton could score, Rasheed Wallace could score, Billups could score, all of them could score. They weren't a prolific scoring team, but like those guys, they were shot makers. But like you're right, like I don't necessarily see that with this team. But if you take Cade out of it, it gets rough.
And this is why I've said and Dennis Jenkins does nothing. This guy does nothing. Everyone loves him. He does nothing. And I will say this. Asar Thompson got 9 minutes in the second half last night. That was it. That's all Asar got when you're a length wing defender, and you are struggling at stopping that. Like, I don't know. I don't know what Franz Wagner got into last night. Like, this guy was unbelievable last night. And
he's back in Michigan, man.
It's just something about the Pistons. And look, JB Bickerstaff, I get it. You struggle in the big moments. I don't think this Pistons team will always struggle, forever in the playoffs. I don't think that's the case. I think they'll eventually add someone at a certain point down the line. But it's like, this is the year where the East is super weak. You can make a run. And if you were put in a 7-game series against the Celtics, I don't think you win. But again, it's the playoffs. Anything can happen. And if you were to somehow get to a Game 7, anything else can happen in that too. So, like, the Cavs you should beat. I think that'd be a 7-game, I think a 6 or 7-game series, no pun intended. But it's just, like, if I look at the situation, you guys should not lose that way. It looked a certain way yesterday. I still have full capabilities I still have full faith that they'll win the series. But the way it looked yesterday kind of just turned me off a little bit on the team, where it's like, you guys got punked. You guys got punked in the mouth by the Magic. Maybe it was the fact that the Magic played a couple playing games before that and they were a little bit more loose. Maybe that was it. But I still don't think that's a valid excuse for why they lost yesterday. They simply could not catch up. They did not have the edge out of the get-go, and the Magic came out firing on all cylinders. And the Pistons couldn't do anything, and that scares me. That scares me for what's next to come.
Yeah, that's it's really tough, and it just said they fell flat on their face. I'm willing to say that maybe the break was enough to throw them off. I mean, you talk about the Magic coming off of win like they did against the Hornets. That's something that can carry you into that first game. And we've seen teams lose game 1 all the time, especially these 1 seeds who, you get to the end of the year, you locked it up, maybe you get a little comfortable in those last couple of regular season games. It's not as much of an emphasis. And then you get into the playoffs and you fall flat on your face in game 1. We've seen it happen before. The Magic have won game 1s against teams that they didn't deserve to beat in the past. So it's happened. We still got the rest of the series, so I'm not selling this team. It's just yesterday was oof. After what this regular season has been, not a good way to start. Not a good way to start at all. But let's get into question of the day.
Question of the day brought to you by Salt Athletic, an official sponsor of us here at the National Soccer Network. Use promo code NSN15 to save 15% off of that #1 smell-proof cleat bag that 100% works. Scan the QR code on your screen or visit saltathletic.com today. But question of the day: why can't we have anything in Detroit? We lose game 5s in 19 innings. We haven't won a World Series game in like 40 years. We got swept every time. The Pistons don't do anything. The Red Wings can't make the playoffs. Why can't we have anything in Detroit? Or in your case, Grand Rapids?
Well, we got a couple of things in Grand Rapids. But I don't know. To be completely honest, we've asked this question before on this podcast, and I think for every organization, it's something different. I think the Tigers have been notoriously cheap forever. I think the most recent iteration of Tiger success that we've ever seen, I mean, a lot of that was just from opening up the pocketbooks and overspending for players in the hopes that we could make it. A lot of the best players in our organization's history were not drafted here. And I've said that before, and so I think the Tigers have had to overcompensate for players in the past, and sometimes it hasn't worked, and it's put them in a compromising position to where they just didn't have the pieces they needed to finish it out. Yeah, they got to the World Series, but you can't get to the World Series and win it if you don't have a bullpen. Like there was always something missing from those teams. It wasn't like the 80s teams where like all those guys came up together and they all developed together. It's a very different feel to that organization back then. You look at the Red Wings. I think complacency. I think that it's just been a mess. I don't know what the deal is with the Wings, because they were the standard for me growing up. When I was younger, it was the Wings. Everybody else was like, you don't know really what you're gonna get. The Wings were the standard. Like, this is the generational gap between you and me. Like, I'm not that much older than you are, but I think about your generation and I'm like, you guys haven't seen the Wings succeed. You haven't seen them do anything really that's noteworthy at all in your life. Nope. And so, so for them, I don't know. That's the biggest mystery to me. With the Lions, I just think the Lions are cursed, man. To be completely honest with you. Now, it's a little hypocritical because we've only made one good playoff run in my life. That's it. So it's like, I mean, yeah, we're 0 for 1. Some of these organizations will make a couple in a stretch of 5, 6, 7 years. We've gotten the one. And I just think there's so many different reasons as to why the Lions are messed up. I think obviously ownership, the Fords have done a terrible job for the longest time of owning this team. And, obviously there was a push for many a years there to sell the organization. They never did. I think they've obviously gotten far better than what they were. But, there's no promotion and relegation, right? So you don't have to worry about going down a league. If you suck all the time, you're still going to make your money because people show up and watch. For the Pistons, it's been one thing after. There's a whole documentary out there about how the Pistons got to the position they did, and the guys they passed on, and the guys they didn't sign, and just trying to kind of piecemeal that team together at the very end, or the guys they did sign, going after. Yeah, or even just going after Darko. It's like, well, it's a position need. It's like, guys, I don't give a shit. I go, if there's 3 more talented guys in front of him, you go after one of those dudes. I don't care what position he plays. You'll figure it out later on. And so, yeah, man, I think depending on the team and the sport, something you can point at anywhere. DCFC is great though, man. Some legends out there, man. They got a dynasty going over there. But everybody else, I don't know. It all depends on where you look.
Yeah, they always end the playoffs in tragic fashion. They always win a game, though, but they always lose in tragic fashion. I just would say I think the city's cursed. I think the sports world is like, you know what? They're Midwesterners. That means they're passionate. They're actually going to care about this sport. So we're going to give them the shittiest sports teams ever. Yeah. But they'll still watch anyway, so it's not like it matters. We'll continue to keep their money. We're going to send the best teams in the spots where the fans don't really care, but they'll show up because their teams are actually good. We'll get their money too. So I think that's what they want.
I think Detroit comes with a reputation too. It's not necessarily a positive one, and I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying. We even heard yesterday, like the Chicago Fire fans who were like, one of their chants was like, "You live in Detroit," but that's the mentality. That's how people.
I'd rather live in Detroit than Chicago.
But that's how people view the city, and so I feel like in a lot of the major professional sports, picture yourself in this position, right? I'm a great athlete. I'm considering where I'm going to go, and let's say I'm getting offered $40 million. It is. But that's the difference. They get here and then they're like, oh, like this ain't people saying about Detroit. Like I'm in Detroit right now. It ain't that bad. Yeah, but they have to get here first. So if I got cities going, hey, I'll offer you $30 million. If it's Miami, San Diego, and Detroit, Detroit better offer me about 10, 15 more million dollars if I'm going to go to the snowy north as opposed to going to Miami or the most beautiful place on earth, which is San Diego, California. I get it. Yeah, but Florida, you don't have property taxes, so I wouldn't even have to worry about that. So that's a big consideration, but I feel like Detroit, whether it be the Lions, whether it be the Red Wings, maybe not the Red Wings nearly as much, but the Tigers, the Pistons, this is not a destination. Like, you have to go out of your way almost all the time as an organization to get those players you need to get you over the hump, unless you're good enough at identifying and developing, which I think the Lions have taken a big step forward. I think the Tigers have certainly taken a big step forward. I think Kevin McGonigal is an example of that. The Red Wings, I don't know what the freaking hell's going on. But I think sometimes as the city of Detroit, this is the part that sucks. It's small markets, man. Like, that's just how it works. Like, you want me to come here or Minnesota or Cleveland or Cincinnati. Like, yeah, well, I could go play in Las Vegas. Like, where do you want to go play? If, do you want Hollywood or do you want, Marge's Donuts? Like, what do you, what exactly do you want for your career and where do you want to live? So I think that also plays a role into it. If I'm being, it's not everything. I think that's just that's a big component of the Detroit experience, unfortunately.
Yeah. There's a lot better places than donut shops in Detroit, so I think you're good. But hey, no, really.
I agree, man. I'm not poo-pooing on Detroit. I'm just saying, yeah, I agree, dude. I agree. I just think it's kind of scary when you're going for exit 208 and you actually end up on 209, and then you get off the highway on the gray shit or whatever it's called, grass shit, and you're like, wow, this is
what did you just call it?
It's grass shit, isn't it?
What'd you say before?
Grass shit Avenue? Gray shit?
Ooh,
hey, man, at least I got it on try number 2.
Non-Michiganders
would not even. What was Jimmy Fallon's? What did Jimmy Fallon say?
From the Metro Detroit area without telling me you're not from the Metro Detroit area.
I'm just saying, but I thought it was funny getting off of that onto Van Dyke Street. Yeah, you can see the city right down the middle. So, anyways, that'll wrap up episode 271 here on Inside the Game. But let's talk about Detroit streets tomorrow. Let's open up our show with that. See if you can name the Detroit streets. We'll quiz Dave and Schrock on that one. But that'll wrap up here, episode 271. You can follow us Inside the Game, National Soccer Network on social media, and Sports Nation. That's sports with a Z. Until we talk to you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. So long, everybody.
From the biggest matches to the hottest takes, Jonathan Turner and Nathan Wenger bring you the stories, the analysis, and the edge you won't get anywhere else. Streaming live weekdays at 9 a.m. on YouTube, Roku TV, Facebook, Twitter, and all major platforms. No filters, no fluff, just real talk